The hopes and dreams of a mother's plan. Bless the fathers. Bless the mothers. Bless all the little children. Come together. Come together. Brothers and sisters, all the families, come together. Come together. You know it's about time for all of us to come together.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning somewhere out there in the world. Welcome to WLTH. This is AM 1370, the Regent's Choice, and I am one of the voices, or as they say, we are the voice. And we bring real talk, or at least I do here on Sound Off with E.V.E. Real talk, real issues, with real people. And you know me, I've been told I keep it positive, but more than anything, I keep it real. And I don't sugarcoat things, and I know that there's going to be some things that will be coming up, and we're improving, and we're doing everything that we need to do for the community. I can only speak of myself, but it's been an experience for me today, let me tell you. But I'm going to tell you guys about that in a few minutes. And the views expressed by the hosts and the callers of the show are not necessarily the views of WLTH Radio management, owners, and sponsors. And sorry you guys missed me yesterday. I was not here, but you guys, I'm sure, got to enjoy some new good music. I mean, you know, we try to get this oldies but goodies to you here on WLTH Radio. And the call-in number, sound off at 219-885-1371. How about that weather? Woo, I had the heater on yesterday, and now we got the air conditioning today within 24 hours. How about that? That's called pneumonia weather, cold weather, flu weather, something. You know, here we're wearing shorts. I'm not wearing socks today. I am wearing some skirts. It's hot. Yeah, but I'm not complaining. I hope you guys had a great weekend. It was a very, 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 very busy weekend for me. Drove a lot. I drove many miles this weekend, and it's been great. And I'm going to tell you the experience that I've had today, and it all revolves around education, around our youth, things that shouldn't be happening, but you just cannot avoid it. I know that you guys heard it in some of the other shows about it, about the guns, about the violence. You guys heard all about that. But you know what? I'm all about solutions, and this is something that I observe when I'm in the schools. God has placed me in the buildings that I'm supposed to be in and in the classrooms that I'm supposed to be in, and he did that this morning. I was in East Chicago. I was with the Junior Achievement. And we need more junior achievement in your schools. If anyone is interested, please reach out to me, 219-331-0701, if you don't have junior achievement in your schools. These are basically about life skills, things that we as grown-ups know about, that we're going through, but we don't prepare our youth for. Some kids say, I wish we were taught life skills in schools, but it doesn't take place. So junior achievement, kudos to them. And, you know, I was glad to have been part of it. I've been given complaints about what's going on with our youth, and I see you. I actually was in the class for 3 hours, and they were 7th graders. So shout out to the 7th graders that got to see me, got to meet with me, and probably didn't like me being in that class. And let me tell you something, and I've left my glasses at my parents'. I do apologize if I'm squinting or can't really see. But I had 7th graders, and these are life skills about risk taking. about financing, debit card versus credit card. But in the midst of me attempting several times to teach my lessons, I had 6 lessons and I only got to go through 3 in 3 hours. There was a lot of disruption, a lot of energy that these kids have, but negative energy. I got talked back, disrespected. But more than anything, it wasn't so much about them disrespecting me because, see, I was there to do what I had to do. But more than anything, the reason why I was actually feeling that I was put there is to observe these kids are going through a lot. Back in my day when we were growing up, and you know, shout out to Gwen. She is taking care of a program on my parents' block. I get to see kids playing on that lot, on grass, on basketball, and it is a not-for-profit. I said, you know, we got to share what you're doing because I always see you with kids out here, and they have a waiting list. I didn't get a chance to get the name of her not-for-profit, but just to see that we have kids doing something positive. Use their energy for something positive other than talking back, other than getting in trouble, other than asked to be kicked out of your class or taken out of your class. I have 14 kids. I think all 12 or 14 kids were in the class today. And I attempted to do my class, you know, the teaching of junior achievement. Some of you know what it is. If you want them in your classroom, please give us a call. Junior Achievement in Chicago, it focuses on reality, on financing, on basic living of life, how to manage things outside school, which some of these skills are not taught in classrooms. We know that. So it is my calling to bring more of this to the schools. But here was my purpose in being in this classroom. It's been brought to my attention of the bullying that doesn't get controlled. They don't do anything about it. I observe things myself without anyone having to tell me. So I was placed in that school, in that specific classroom. You know, everything happens for a reason. I believe that. And so as I attempted to start with everybody introducing themselves and what their interests are, what their skills are, and their value. These kids don't value themselves. They don't value their life. They don't respect themselves, so let alone they're not going to respect you. And I got one young girl telling me, I may respect my teacher, but not you. And I said, and she goes, why are you picking on me? Well, the things that she was saying, I was turning what she was saying into positive. I wasn't picking on her. And I did use her examples to tell the rest of the class and saying, well, this is, you know, what she's saying, it makes sense. Because here's what's going on in the schools, and I got 2 young adults here in the audience, which is Omar and his friend, and they can vouch for me, is that we don't listen to kids anymore. We are and we are just test-driven. Here, read this book, and here, pass this test. Read this book, pass this test. Read this chapter, pass this test. You flunked the test. You didn't read it good. You didn't prepare enough. I had some kids that were tired. They were saying they were bored. And I was asking them, I was picking their brain. Tell me, why are you bored? How can I enlighten your day? How can I excite you? What do you want? I get out of here. I don't want to be here. I'm tired. I didn't sleep. I mean, and they were just not compliant. Non-compliant whatsoever. It's like there was no rules in that classroom. They had cell phones. These are 7th graders, mind you. They had cell phones. One of them took the cell phone out, put it apart, cleaned it while she was in the classroom. And I'm like, okay, really? And they wanted to go to the bathroom. They wanted to get up. They wanted to take their shirt off. They wanted to tuck it in. It's like, wow, really? And I'm looking at the teacher. And just as I tell my 2 kids, see, and I walk the walk, okay? Just as I tell my 2 kids, don't embarrass me where you're at, because what you do reflects on me and vice versa. What I do as a parent reflects on my kids. Well, let me tell you, I don't blame those kids for what they were doing in that classroom. I said, where are the parents? How are you raising them, or are you having trouble trying to raise them? It's like not following policy. No, nothing, no rules, no nothing. And we were teaching them about being an entrepreneur, owning your business, learning to save money, learning to follow rules more than anything. Do I have a caller? All right, go ahead, caller. Please sound off here with E.V.E.
Yes, good evening to you.
Hey, Doc, how are you?
Great, great. and really, you, I guess, in the last couple of statements that you made really was really what I was going to say, and it is the parent, just like you. I mean, you know, your children are aware that, you know, that how they were raised and how it reflects on you and how you reflect on them. And when you run into those the families that haven't, you know, got that with that type of connection with their children, and as a unit and as a family, how you reflect on each other, and when you say, do we listen? And as you look at the things that you're getting from your children to respond, because they have a discipline and respect in it, and out of the love for you, and when we don't listen to those who don't have that atmosphere.
Exactly. That perfect ingredient that's missing is love. They don't even know what that is. They know how to laugh at each other, talk about each other, bully each other, make fun of each other. That's all they know how to do.
And really, when you say it like that, the real reason that, you know, my mother and my stepfather, I did things because of that love. That is the binding force. When love is understood and it shared in a way that the child feels responsible for respecting that love, you know, and whatever it is that can make that parent look like they're doing a good job or failing at being a parent. So yes, but we do listen to others, our own children and others. And you know, it do give you, in that brief encounter that you have with that child that haven't been receiving that, you try to arm yourself with something you could say, do, and plant a small seed in passing, because the encounters can be so brief. And after you accumulate enough experience, hopefully some thoughtfulness on that will help you to say something that is powerful or impactful enough to encourage that child in that brief encounter, meaning when they're not around their families, and hopefully you can say something powerful enough that it'll take them through whatever disadvantages that they might be having at home. So I understand completely. Just to listen, and hopefully you can say something where that child can know things are a little bit better outside of the home, you know.
Most definitely, Doc. That's exactly what I do in the classroom. That's not even me, Doc. I'm not religious, and I tell people I'm just spiritual, but it's not even me going there and putting that message to these students. It's like God is putting me where I need to be, and these kids hear things that they don't hear somewhere else, so they're going to hear it when I'm there. And I told them, look, you guys were chosen. I don't know why this class versus another class, and I was invited in at last minute because they needed someone to come in to teach one of the other classes. So I went in, I said, okay, I'm available. Tomorrow's career day, I go back again. These kids are missing so much that they don't even realize that they're despising themselves in their behavior. And I look at it this way, it's like we're so quick to want to punish, we're so quick to want to suspend them, we're so quick to give them detention and throw them out of the classroom, but we're doing exactly what they want. I had one young lady in my classroom that she was acting out. She figured, oh, I'm going to be here with you 3 hours. Oh, heck no. And she's the one that says, I'll respect my teacher, but I'm not going to respect you. Pretty young girl. But, you know, I know that it's not her. She's reacting to something else that's going on in her life and her family. Who knows what it may be. So we have to think about that. And I even told the teacher, I feel bad. I said, I didn't want her to be taken out of the class because you're actually giving her what she wants. She didn't want to be in here, and that's all you're doing. It's pleasing them in a negative way. You don't punish. You need to find out what is going on with them. You need to go to the root of as they say, the root of all evil. You need to get to the root of the problem and work on solutions, because if we keep suspending, if we keep expelling, if we keep giving them detention, that's negative with a negative. So how are we going to get them to react positive?
And you're right. It's really called failing the child.
I'm telling you.
Of the student. And and I can say this much for you. I know you take the whole matter home and you draw, you what I mean by take home, you even sleep. When you, with your spare time, you think on those students that behave in certain ways, and think to yourself, what could you done better? And that's always a beautiful thing because, because that's the humanity in you. You look for answers, even there are too many times when there are no answers, but you ponder what could be said that could be effective, or the steps that you could take, even if it's over a period of time. You constantly ponder how you can be encouraging, or say that one encouraging word that can completely seal the deal as far as that child seeing that you're there to help.
That's right.
But it all comes in the little small stuff that you're taking, that we're talking about, and all of the approaches that, really, I think where you are now is in the right place, because from the passion you have, you're going to continue to process what can be done that, and and how to respond to the needs. These are really truly the needy. And it's an ongoing thing, and I really share your passion also. Just the concern and deal with the needs of those. Listen to those children, and try to bring them to a place and help others and put in place and think for them also, and to the point that they get a chance to see the love behind the effort.
That's it.
Okay.
That's all they want. Thank you so much, Doc. Passion is there, and you have to catch them when they're young. And you're doing the most valuable part, just looking and searching for what they need, and then how to package it to the point that it'll be a positive force and have a immediate positive impact, so that you won't have another failure, another That's right.
lost
That's
child.
just one more statistic.
Thank
you so much, Doc, and continue to listen.
Yes, enjoy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. here on WLTH Radio, and that's exactly what I'm not about the talking. Get me in a meeting and don't just talk. Get me in a meeting of action. This is what we're going to do. I'm a person of action. My kids sometimes don't see me all day, but they know that I'm doing something right. And they shine, and they don't embarrass me, and they better not embarrass me, and they know it, and I'm not going to embarrass them either. It's a team effort. You got to work together. I heard these kids that their parents aren't even involved. I gave them a letter, said you need to give this to your parents. They probably won't. And it says, dear parent or guardian. So they know how they think. That's the problem. Many parents don't know how their children think, why they do what they do, but they act out. And I told them, if it is to be, it is up to me. And remember that it's not the action that matters, it's the reaction that does. And the teacher was actually listening, probably taking notes. And I said, look, this is about JA, but I don't believe I was really here to go over all the discussions. There were six things that I had to go through. I was lucky to just get 3 out the way, of all the disruption, of all the distraction, that some kids there actually wanted to listen. And I said, it's not fair that the rest are acting out and the ones that want to listen are distracted by it. They kept getting up, they kept talking back, they kept talking while I was talking, while I was trying to give instructions. And I told them about reality. You can't survive like this. You got to know how to follow rules, follow the policy, because you guys are violating your own policy here. What you got your cell phones in your hands for? Why is your cell phone there? Mr. So-and-so, are your kids supposed to have your cell phones here? No. Well, come on. See? I don't know. Either we're too weak as teachers, or we're tired, or we've had enough, or what. I don't know. But I tell you what, I couldn't really act like I was the teacher, although I wanted to. But I said, you got to ask your teacher if you can go to the bathroom, drink some water, whatever it may be. These kids were very disruptive, 7th graders. They're saying they're bored. And I said, look, I understand, guys. This may be something that you weren't probably planning to listen to, but this is about reality, real things that you not normally are taught in school. Let's talk about your skills. Let's talk about your interests. And more than that, when you put those together, it says how valuable you are. And we're going to have graduations coming up. Some will graduate, some won't. Some are missing points, or what do they call them, credits, finding out at the last minute. But we got to train the mindset into what's really going to happen when we get out of school. What is that real life that I will have to face? The no job, flunked class, school, feel down about myself, can't get a credit card, can't get a job. Well, you've got to prepare them how to deal with that. And that's also with inmates. You got to change in the mindset. So I felt bad, and I told the teacher that I did not want that child to be thrown out of the class. I knew that she was reacting because of something that's not right. And I said, also those that are on Facebook, I posted out there. You do not, the answer is not in the suspension, expulsion, detention, embarrassing them or whatever. I didn't want to call out these students, but I was putting their examples and what they were saying in perspective to let them know that I understand why you're acting out. Something's going on in your life. Something's not right. One of them actually said, yeah, my dad was drunk. We laughed at him because he got arrested. And I said, these things aren't funny. And then you know what? Two of the students, I got to say this, Omar. What's the guy, the drug lord that got arrested, and then I don't know if it really was him? ¿El quién?
El Chapo? Chapo?
El Chapo. Two kids were praising this dude. You know, they have a card so they can put their names on their desk so I can call them by their name and not pointing, hey, you, how about over there in the corner on the right, the one in the red. You know, they were proud to call themselves that. I said, you got to be kidding me.
Wait, reverse. Wait, what were they calling themselves?
El Chapo.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And they're like, I'm going to be like him. I said, oh, my God. We really have to drill things in these children's brain and their heart. I got to tell you what I experienced. This is what I live with these kids. But then I said, I got to get hold of these parents. You know what they say? You'll never meet my mother. You don't even know who she is. I'm like, you guys are kidding me. These kids really think that they're ruling their class, really think that they're ruling the world. And I said, wow, we got to help you. Because when I reach 70, God forbid you're running my world. You'd probably lock me up because I didn't like the way, you didn't like the way I looked or something. Our kids need help. Stop punishing the bad. Work on the solutions. Kids are graduating. Kudos to them. Keep moving forward. We talked about what are you going to do after high school. Some said we're going to college. Some said I don't know. Some said I'm going to move away. We discussed about their interests to know what they're good at, to see if they would be in agriculture, to see if they would be in the medical, to see if they would be in the finance, to see if they would be in whatever it may be. I got them to think, and that's what JA does. Gets you to think. And these kids, if you don't put them to think, they're not going to know how to think other than negative things. You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. here on WLTH Radio. 219-885-1371 is the Sound Off number. If anyone wants to sound off, tell me I'm crazy or I'm wrong. But I really felt that I didn't need that student to be withdrawn from her classroom. The teacher also called one of the parents saying, you know, your son's acting up. They violated every rule in the policy handbook. Look, I'm telling you, the answers are not what you're doing. Show them how to love themselves, respect themselves, but you have to show them in your own self as well. Because there are parents out there that actually don't even respect themselves. They're out there calling each other names. And our kids are watching that. It's no more do as I say, not as I do. That doesn't work anymore. Our kids are doing what we do. Go ahead, caller. Sound off here with E.V.E.
Hey, Eve, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you done, Sam?
Okay. It's sad how our children, not our, well, they are our children, because every child is our child. And it's sad that, that today in society, the parents want to be friends with their children, and they can't.
Yeah, that you just don't do that.
And, they want to, once they start, they see their parents, the life of the party and blah, blah, and, this is the society that they grew up to see, and this is the society that they want to, it's sad to see little children, sit in a room filled with, with whatever it's in there,
Yeah.
And it's just devastating.
It is, because, here we got parents crying that their kids are getting killed left and right.
Yeah, but that night they'll be sitting there drinking and smoking.
Exactly. They have to watch what they do in front of their kids. They're like sponges. They absorb everything. It's no longer do as I say, not as I do. You gotta watch what you're doing.
They don't read to their children. They don't sit there and help them with their homework.
Mm-mm.
And it's just the simple things in life that will teach them.
Mm-hmm.
The simple things.
Exactly.
Instead of sitting there, with a bag of popcorn and soda pop in front of the TV. Sit there and read a book, or write a story. Last night I was talking to my granddaughter that she's going to graduate this year in Texas, and she wants me to go out there, but I just can't make it. I just can't make it. I want to go out, but I can't make it. Says, Grandma, you used to read to us.
I know. Well, we gotta meet up sometime soon. I know I've been extremely busy.
I know.
But I make time for things.
I called Omar the other day. I said, oh, if I had a son, I wish he would have been Omar.
Well, Omar's giving you thumbs up. He says you can adopt him for a day.
All right, I'll take him.
Thanks, Andrea. I
Thank
appreciate you commenting.
Okay,
appreciate
bye-bye.
you. You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. here on WLTH Radio. We got to pay some light bills here, or some bills, some heat, some cool air, because now we're going to need the air conditioning. How about that? So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back after this here on WLTH Radio, Sound Off with E.V.E.
The Majestic Star Casino presents Angela Winbush, an American R&B soul singer and songwriter. Friday, May 23rd for 2 shows, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Purchase tickets at the Majestic Star Casino box office. Angela Winbush, Friday, May 23rd for 2 shows, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. for 2 shows only. Angela Winbush at the Majestic Star Casino.
Angel is what we need. We need lots of angels, and they're around. You just don't be too blind or too deaf to not notice that. You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. I want to congratulate everyone that is graduating, congratulate those parents. And today, while I was in that 7th grade class, I kept doing this. Blindly, of course, no one's seeing that. I kept patting myself in the back. Because you know what? Parents, you really, really, really got to know what your kids are doing. Because some of those kids said, my parents don't know what I do out here. I'm different in the house than I am out here. And they even asked me, do you really know what your kids are doing? I said, yep. You better believe it. Yes, I do. And the oldest one is 20. And my youngest is 15. And kudos to Emily. These kids got their transcript today in Hammond. And you know what? I have to be a proud mom. I am a product of what my parent brought to this world. But I'm also a role model to many children, not just my own 2 kids. Kudos to Emily. She is 7 out of 303. She is number 7. She's in the top 10 of her freshman class, and she is so happy because hard work does pay off. And more than anything, you pay attention. Don't be one of those kids that are distracting. Parents, get involved in your children's life. I'm involved in your child's life. You don't know if I'm talking to your child unless they come and tell you. And I do go and talk to students. And now with JA, that's just another blessing to allow me to go into different schools. But adults, get it together. Because you know what? A person from the office, everybody wanted to pull their hair out, the volunteers that were there from JA, because they're like, whew, I started out with 12 and ended up with 5 kids. I was like, wow. We were there 3 hours. I only lost 1 child in the classroom. That's it. I didn't even want her gone because you're actually giving her what she wants. Don't punish the bad. Work on solutions. And kudos to my daughter. She is number 7 of 303 in her class, freshman class. That's you got to be proud of that. But when kids don't have bad grades, it doesn't mean because they're not learning. There's something there. Something's not right. They're not learning the way they're being taught. There's some issues going on at home. They're being bullied. Something's not right. But don't be so quick to want to expel or suspend, because that's not the solution. That actually creates more problems because now you got them on the street. So with that, I want you to listen to a commencement. It's a it hit more likes on YouTube than Oprah did in the commencement that she had, and he is a English teacher, and it caught my attention. I heard his interview, and you know what? We have to teach our kids that they are special to us, but to society and to the world, they are not special. And I don't mean it in a bad way. Pay attention, parents. Let your kids listen to this. Don't say that this is going to bore you, because this is what really is going on. We got to prepare our youth for real life.
Dr. Wong, Dr. Keogh, Mrs. Novogrowski, Ms. Curran, members of the Board of Education, family and friends of the graduates, ladies and gentlemen of the Wellesley High School class of 2012. For the privilege of speaking to you this afternoon, I'm honored and grateful. Thank you. So here we are, commencement, life's great forward-looking ceremony. And don't say, what about weddings? Weddings are one-sided and insufficiently effective. Weddings are bride-centric pageantry.
This is also a message for our adults as well, okay? So pay attention to this. He sends a very good, positive message.
No stately, hey everybody look at me procession, no being given away, no identity-changing pronouncement. And can you imagine a television show dedicated to watching guys try on tuxedos? Their fathers sitting there misty-eyed with joy and disbelief. Their brothers lurking in the corner, muttering with envy. Left to men, weddings would be, after limits testing procrastination, spontaneous, almost inadvertent, during halftime, on the way to the refrigerator. And then there's the frequency of failure. Statistics tell us half of you will get divorced. A winning percentage like that will get you last place in the American League East. The Baltimore Orioles do better than weddings. But this ceremony, commencement, a commencement works every time. From this day forward, truly, in sickness and in health, through financial fiascos, through midlife crises, and passively attractive sales reps at trade shows in Cincinnati. Parents get that. Through diminishing tolerance for annoyingness, through every difference, irreconcilable and otherwise, you will stay forever graduated from high school, you and your diploma as one till death do you part. No, commencement is life's great ceremonial beginning, with its own attendant and highly appropriate symbolism. Fitting, for example, for this auspicious rite of passage is where we find ourselves this afternoon, the venue. Normally I avoid cliches like the plague wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole, but here we are on a literal level playing field. That matters, that says something. And your ceremonial costume, shapeless, uniform, one size fits all. Whether male or female, tall or short, scholar or slacker, spray-tanned prom queen or intergalactic Xbox assassin, each of you is dressed, you'll notice, exactly the same. And your diploma, but for your name, exactly the same. All of this is as it should be because none of you is special. You're not special. You're not exceptional. Contrary to what your U9 soccer trophy suggests, your your glowing 7th grade report card, despite every assurance of a certain corpulent purple dinosaur, that nice Mr. Rogers, and your batty Aunt Sylvia. No matter how often your maternal caped crusader has swooped in to save you, you are nothing special. Yes, you've been pampered, cosseted, doted upon, helmeted, bubble-wrapped. Yes, capable adults with other things to do have held you, kissed you, fed you, wiped your mouth, wiped your bottom, trained you, taught you, tutored you, coached you, listened to you, counseled you, encouraged you, consoled you, and encouraged you again. You've been nudged, cajoled, wheedled, and implored. You've been feted and fawned over and called sweetie pie. Yes, you have. And certainly we've been to your games, your plays, your recitals, your science fairs. Absolutely, smiles ignite when you walk into a room, and hundreds gasp with delight at your every tweet. Why, maybe you've even had your picture in the Townsman. And now you've conquered high school. And indisputably here we all have gathered for you, the pride and joy of this fine community, the first to emerge from that magnificent new building. But do not get the idea you're anything special, because you're not. The empirical evidence is everywhere, numbers even an English teacher can't ignore. Newton, Natick, I'm allowed to say Needham, yes? That has to be 2,000 high school graduates right there, give or take, and that's just the neighborhood ends. Across the country, no fewer than 3.2 million seniors are graduating about now from more than 37,000 high schools. That's 37,000 valedictorians. That's 37,000 class presidents, 92,000 harmonizing altos, 340,000 swaggering jocks, 2,185,967 pairs of Uggs. But why limit ourselves to high school? After all, you're leaving it. So think about this. Even if you're 1 in a million on a planet of 6.8 billion, that means there are nearly 7,000 people just like you. Imagine standing somewhere over there on Washington Street on Marathon Monday watching 6,800 yous go running by. And consider for a moment the bigger picture. Your planet, I'll remind you, is not the center of its solar system. Your solar system is not the center of its galaxy. Your galaxy is not the center of the universe. In fact, astrophysicists assure us the universe has no center. Therefore, you cannot be it. Neither can Donald Trump, which someone should tell him. Although the hair is quite a phenomenon. But Dave, you cry. Walt Whitman tells me I'm my own version of perfect. Epictetus tells me I have the spark of Zeus. And I don't disagree. So that makes 6.8 billion examples of perfection, 6.8 billion sparks of Zeus. You see, if everyone is special, then no one is. If everyone gets a trophy, trophies become meaningless. In our unspoken but not so subtle Darwinian competition with one another, which springs, I think, from our fear of our own insignificance, a subset of our dread of mortality, we have of late, we Americans, to our detriment, come to love accolades more than genuine achievement. We have come to see them as the point, and we're happy to compromise standards or ignore reality if we suspect that's the quickest way or only way to have something to put on the mantelpiece, something to pose with, crow about, something with which to leverage ourselves into a better spot on the social totem pole. No longer is it how you play the game, no longer is it even whether you win or lose, or learn, or grow, or enjoy yourself doing it. Now it's, so what does this get me? As a consequence, we cheapen worthy endeavors, and building a Guatemalan medical clinic becomes more about the application to Bowdoin than the well-being of Guatemalans. It's an epidemic, and in its way, not even dear old Wellesley High is immune. One of the best of the 37,000 nationwide Wellesley High School, where good is no longer good enough, where a B is the new C, and the mid-level curriculum is called advanced college placement. And I hope you caught me when I said one of the best. I said one of the best so we can feel better about ourselves, so we can bask in a little easy distinction, however vague and unverifiable, and count ourselves among the elite, whoever they might be, and enjoy a perceived leg up on the perceived competition. but the phrase defies logic. By definition, there can be only one best. You're it or you're not. If you've learned anything in your 4 years, I hope it's that education should be for, rather than material advantage, the exhilaration of learning. You've learned too, I hope, as Sophocles assured us, that wisdom is the chief element of happiness. Second is ice cream. Just an FYI. I also hope you've learned enough to recognize how little you know. How little you know now, at the moment. For today is just the beginning. It's where you go from here that matters. As you commence then, and before you scatter to the winds, I urge you to do whatever you do for no reason other than you love it and believe in its importance. Don't bother with work you don't believe in any more than you would a spouse you're not crazy about, lest you too find yourself on the wrong side of a Baltimore Orioles comparison. Resist the easy comforts of complacency, the specious glitter of materialism, the narcotic paralysis of self-satisfaction. Be worthy of your advantages. And read. Read all the time. Read as a matter of principle, as a matter of self-respect. Read as a nourishing staple of life. Develop and protect a moral sensibility and demonstrate the character to apply it. Dream big. Work hard. Think for yourself. Love everything you love, everyone you love with all your might. And do so, please, with a sense of urgency, for every tick of the clock subtracts from fewer and fewer. And as surely as there are commencements, there are cessations, and you'll be in no condition to enjoy the ceremony attendant to that eventuality, no matter how delightful the afternoon. The fulfilling life, the distinctive life, the relevant life, is an achievement, not something that will fall into your lap because you're a nice person or mommy ordered it from the caterer. You'll note the Founding Fathers took pains to secure your inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Quite an active verb, pursuit. Which leaves, I should think, little time for lying around watching parrots roller skate on YouTube. The first President Roosevelt, the old Rough Rider, advocated the strenuous life. Mr. Thoreau wanted to drive life into a corner, to live deep and suck out all the marrow. The poet Mary Oliver tells us to row into the swirl and roil. Locally, someone, I forget who, from time to time encourages young scholars to carpe the heck out of the diem. The point is the same. Get busy. Have at it. Don't wait for inspiration or passion to find you. Get up, get out, explore, find it yourself, grab hold with both hands. Now, before you dash off and get your YOLO tattoo, let me point out the illogic of that trendy little expression, because you can and should live not merely once, but every day of your life. Rather than you only live once, it should be you live only once, but because ELU doesn't have the same ring, we shrug and decide it doesn't matter. None of this day seizing, though, this ELUing, should be interpreted as license for self-indulgence. Like accolades ought to be, the fulfilled life is a consequence, a gratifying byproduct. It's what happens when you're thinking about more important things. Climb the mountain not to plant your flag, but to embrace the challenge, enjoy the air, and behold the view. Climb it so you can see the world, not so the world can see you. Go to Paris to be in Paris, not to cross it off your list and congratulate yourself for being worldly. Exercise free will and creative independent thought, not for the satisfactions they will bring you, but for the good they will do others, the rest of the 6.8 billion, and those who will follow them. And then you too will discover the great and curious truth of the human experience is that selflessness is the best thing you can do for yourself. The sweetest joys of life, then, come only with the recognition that you're not special, because everyone is. Congratulations. Good luck. Make for yourselves, please, for your sake and for ours, extraordinary lives.
That's right, and that's for all of those that are actually going to have a commencement, that's going to graduate, and those that are behind, please follow suit. As I tell my youth, follow my lead. I know what I'm telling you. I just want to love these kids that I met this morning, and I'll get to see some tomorrow for Career Day. And it's not even about me. But I'm going to keep telling you, if you're an educator, I know it takes a lot, because we volunteered for 3 hours, and some of the people came out wanting to pull their hair apart because these kids were wreaking havoc. There was no obedience. There was no respect. There's no more discipline. And I said, boy, I wish we still had those paddles. Those 2x4s with the holes in it. I remember those. Mr. Hutnick, Mrs. Harris, I think. They're the ones that touched my behind with one of those. Mr. Hutnick, 7th grade, I believe, was my history teacher at Dunbar Pulaski. I forgot my homework. And that wasn't child abuse. The system is so backwards. If we only had that back, maybe our kids would be different. Maybe. I know they're wreaking havoc, and I know there's so much more that these kids are going through than when we were growing up back in the 60s, 50s, 70s, and 80s. Even then, it's not as bad as now, because now everything is racing behind the clock, the technology. We can't even keep our cell phones down. You guys see me on Ustream? I'm not keeping my phone down because I'm on Twitter, I'm posting things, I'm on Facebook, I'm commenting, I'm putting that the show is on, that I am here live, that I'm talking about real talk. When is it real talk with families? Kitchen tables? Some don't even go to sit in a kitchen table. So next time you guys see some kids, don't holler at them and curse them out. They're only reacting out of something that's not going right. Try to show them what they don't have, which is love and respect. And teach them that they are valuable. These kids don't know what that means. It's 50 minutes after the hour here on WLTH Radio. 219-885-1371 is the sound-off number. And let's see what kind of weather we're going to have today. In the evening, at night, it seems like it's getting cloudy out there. It was rather warm throughout the day. Rather warm. I mean, I don't like to sweat, but, you know, hey, we got what we got. We just got to make the best of things. Okay. Do you have the newspaper over there, Omar? I know it's not 41 degrees. I'm trying to update my phone, and it's telling me 41 degrees. I know it's not. 83 degrees was in Aurora, and unfortunately, somehow it's trying to locate my temperature over there. You got it, Mars?
Well, on my phone, according to my phone, it's 81 degrees outside right now. It's cloudy. Today the high is 84 degrees, low 64 degrees. Right now it feels about 79 degrees, I guess, with the wind going 10 miles an hour. Tonight, we're supposed to get a strong thunderstorm, so, you know, beware of that. And also throughout the night, and I guess throughout tomorrow, we should be getting thunderstorms. I have a 4-day forecast right here. Wednesday, thunderstorm, clouds and sun with a thunderstorm, high of 80, low of 52. On Thursday, it's going to be mostly sunny and cooler with a high of 66 and a low of 46. Friday is going to be sunshine with a high of 66 and a low of 44. And on Saturday, about the same, a little bit warmer with sunshine and pleasant weather at a high of 74 and a low of 54. Well,
so we're going to have some pleasant weather for the next couple of days, but we got to make the best of what it is. If we get a storm, oh well, just sit still, be calm. That storm will pass. It's not going to hurt you. And I'm going to go to, and I'm looking for her email, Dying to Donate flyer. Carolyn Fears Williams, I've met with her, and I'm going to go to the Underground Railroad in Cincinnati. If all goes well, God willing, I'm going to accompany her. I want to see that. I want to learn that. I learned that in elementary school here in Gary, Indiana, about the Underground Railroad. And so I want to go to that field trip. And that's coming up. She's with Devoted to Healing, and it's not so much of her, it's what is being done. We all need to change our mindset. We all need to touch our hearts, learn to love. 'Cause that's where it starts. We're so busy talking about each other. We're so busy backstabbing each other. We're so busy following what's the latest gossip. We're so busy talking about what someone else isn't doing. We're so busy hating instead of appreciating. So, Devoted to Healing is going on a trip, and I'm going to go on that trip to the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center located in Cincinnati, Ohio. That will be June 7th. Deadline for the money will be June 3rd. Let's go on a learning escapade, rather. Let's go on this learning field trip. They'll be departing out of Maryville on 81st Street. Adults will be $60. All under 18 will be $45. RSVP to Devoted to Healing, 219-477-8135. 219-477-8135. Join me, because I'm going to go learn, other than me just reading it in a history book. I learned that in Spalding Elementary School. See, I was raised here in the city. I'm product of Gary, Indiana. I didn't run the streets. And I saw kids playing out there on the block that I grew up in. Do you know that brings me great memories? That there's kids playing on this block, doing something that's right. And this not-for-profit, the ladies that they took over this house, I thought they were living there. They're Caucasian, but it doesn't matter. They live here in Gary. I feel like I live here still in Gary. And I saw about 20 kids playing outside. Well, I'm going to be part of that too. See, they've been here for years. And today, I was told you need to stop and talk to them. I need to know what you're doing. Not so much for me, so that you can get more help, so that you can get more kids. And she said, Gail, we don't take $1. We don't charge these kids for this program, and we have a waiting list. Well, if we were to have when we were to have maybe more volunteers for her, it's all private funds. She's a not-for-profit. It's all private funds. And these kids are having fun. They have cookouts. You know what? I told her, I need to talk to you. And she has a testimony there. One of her kids that was in the program is giving back. She, too, is involved. She came back. Those are great stories that you need to hear from Gary, Indiana. We can still have fun. We need to start cleaning it up with our kids. You're listening to Sound Off with E.V.E. here at WLTH Radio. Continue to listen to the station that's got it, because God's got it. And as long as God's in your life, let me tell you, anything is possible. It's 56 minutes after the hour. I will be back tomorrow, Wednesday, at 5 o'clock. And Thursday, of course, you know I'll be back at 6 because Coach's Corner will come on at 5. And Friday, I'll be here temporarily because, you know, I'll be the MC for that comedy show, Risas y Ritmos. I'll be in Highland. There will be ticket sales at the door at the Highland Wicker Park. I'll be there as the MC, again, doing the good and not looking at what's in it for you. So when you start thinking that way and you start sowing, you see, eventually your life will change completely. Be positive. Think positive. Love to love, and love your life more than anything, and respect yourself so that you can be respected as well. So with that, continue to listen to the best music here, the Region's Choice. We are the people's voice here on WLTH Radio, AM 1370. Be back tomorrow. You guys have a safe evening. May God bless you. And remember to do something good, not just for yourself, but for your neighbor as well. Peace to you.